comic book day, actually. And welcome back, all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is once again a week later US Comics Cast, HQ for all things comic book connected. We are John and Charlie Rivera, the co-founders of US Comics. Charlie, happy comic book day.
Happy Comic Day to you and to everyone listening and watching today. As always, we are brought to you by Bad Mary Band and Sergeant Finesse Gaming. If you haven't done so already, please hit that comment section like one of your rogues gallery has co-opted your superhero body and has run up a tab that you're going to have to settle up. John.
Eventually.
John, you like punched me for the music cue.
Yeah, it was early.
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
You were super late.
You'll-
In the
you'll-
playback, it's going to be excellent.
You'll hear it on the playback.
Today, other than far more arguing, we're talking about our second favorite, Bloodsucker, our actual favorite. Spider-Man is back with an all-new superior #1, and John's going to deliver, in my opinion, one of the most unexpected pitches of all time, Buck Rogers.
Maybe by you, goddamn whippersnapper.
We're
But
talking
Charlie,
Buck Rogers. Holy shit.
one of us is. You're just gonna get that checkbook ready.
All right.
But yeah, Charlie, we have to begin at the beginning.
I read
right?
that's a good place to start.
When you read right for once. When you're dealing with the classics get to be classic for a reason, regardless of the format in which you are imbibing that shit.
Because Paul knows why we missed last week. I had to get sharp.
It took the entire week, Paul.
It's basically like the Thing's hair. It just, you need a whole team.
Yeah,
and
no,
there's-
I get that.
it's a thing.
It's like a pit crew. But yeah, so we're talking about, look, vampires never seem to go away, which is appropriate considering their makeup. They
true.
do not die.
Really?
No sound. You guys aren't hearing
Can
us
someone
out there?
confirm?
Can I get a confirmation, please, that there is
I'm
no
showing-
sound?
I'm showing that we're running live. Paul, can you confirm or deny? Unless this is an elaborate ruse. Alex, you don't work. Jason Cornacchio,
Yeah,
the
Jay,
mighty
thank you,
Jay
sir.
Cornacchio.
Thank you, sir.
Next time I see you, I got a present for you, Jay. Because
If Jason Cornholio can hear us,
Hey,
Alex,
first and
there's
first,
no
mostly.
reason why you shouldn't be able to, dagnabbit. Look, I'm sorry for the language.
it's okay.
I'm sorry
I think
for
it's
the language.
appropriate for the time era that Dracula came out. Like
That's
back
valid.
then, they
That's
were like,
valid.
heavens,
Oh.
Murgatroyd.
Oh my goodness. So in any case, yeah, in the vampire lore, I'm not really all that interested. Some people might say, look, vampires in the comic book format, that's exclusively the territory of our boy Blade.
That's right.
But we are sitting here that's Wolverine. We are very
I'll leave so many sound
it's
effects.
fine, I get it. we are highly anticipating still Mahershala Ali's Blade. Like, this is a Marvel project that does not ever seem like it wants to crawl out of the coffin. But it's gonna have to eventually, because I frankly insist.
At this point, give me the shitty Wolf and Cub version that they were like, he's in 10%. Oh, don't do that.
Yeah, you know, at that point
They would add another member to
Let
the
him
Young
Blade.
Avengers. It's
Please,
like Little
please.
Blade.
Oh,
is-
God forbid. God forbid. Fuck you, Young Avengers. But that being said, my boy, Vlad Tepes.
Oh, shit.
Oh, the Impaler himself is just, thanks, Alice. Appreciate you, buddy. The Impaler is back in 4-color funny book format, and Charlie, it is done in such a way that even a stake to the chest, even a decapitation,
Oh, shit.
even a terrible Dracula 2000 movie, which shockingly
It's pretty
kind of
good.
is still
It's kinda
watchable
good.
nowadays. Vitamin C wants
I'm
to show me
saying
her
if you
tip job.
show 'em- yeah,
I'm gonna watch.
Vitamin C tits get you through a lot.
Those shits were like vitamin B's, you know what I'm saying? But in any case, let's focus on the
Nice
important.
knowing your show.
It's been real. It's been real.
Cease and desist from vitamin fucking C.
Charlie,
shit.
I'm going to hit the tennis ball right back your way, or
Fuck
the
yeah.
pickleball, because
Oh,
of the new
shit.
situation. I'm gonna hit it right back your way because I insisted, Charlie, you must check out this new And again, I think the official title is Universal Monsters ... Dracula.
Yeah.
And look, Universal has had as many stumbles in bringing their Universal Monsters property back to popular culture. But Charlie, I think this is the best way to do it. First thoughts when I insisted that you check out this comic book.
I genuinely thought you were pranking me. Like, I thought you were setting me up with, like, look what they did to our boy yet again. Because we had just watched a movie that's, like, fucking fine, but the Nick Cage Dracula movie with fucking Beast from the new, like, was so...
You mean Lex Luthor?
I mean, hopefully that'll be awesome. Was like, it kind of took the winds out of my sail, because, like, unironically, I think Dracula 2000 is, like, a fun fucking re-up of that character. And I think Dracula is such a fucking awesome character with so much fucking presence. I'm just cursing my brains off.
I know.
There's something
You got
about...
a problem with vampires?
I do. I love them is the problem. And, I regular Halloween Horror Nights, and I think they always do such a great job with their monsters, right?
I'm sorry. I just have, like, beta cuck familiar energy when you made that comment. You're like, no, I love that. I'll do whatever they need. I'll bring them a virgin or two.
I would be a very useful vampire.
Settle down, Gizmo. It'll be okay, bro. It'll be okay.
If that's up for grabs. I'll even do the little winglings in the back. Like, let's fucking, any vampires listening and watching at home, like, yo, I've tried this fucking among the living shit.
No.
What really immediately took me back, though, was I wasn't particularly impressed with, like, the cover art. When I cracked it open, though, I was not expecting the fucking feast of the eyes. It's another book, much like
Feast for the Senses, as it were.
Much like our last fucking most recent recommendation, World Tree, an absolute visually stunning,
it's a stunning
comic,
stunning book.
to the point where, as you were kind of giving your intro, I immediately have, like, the first question for you, and it's like, the story's good.
Yep.
I would argue that the art's even better. And how do you capture something so visually beautiful?
Yeah.
Like, no matter where the story goes now, because I was only able to fit in one issue, even though we're a week late. I didn't return.
Well, there's only 4.
Yeah.
So that you don't have much
pre-order.
You don't have much heavy lifting. There's 3 of the 4 have been released thus far.
But for me, it's
time
like,
of recording.
For me, the big thing was visually, it's so striking.
Yeah.
It's so, like, glorious to see kind of all the vampire shit you want to see is in this, and somehow more terrifying than if it was possible.
Oh, Christian joining us. What's up, kid?
It was as scary as Christian come February 14th driving around tearing down Christmas decorations, because that's his fucking cutoff. My birthday is Christian's cutoff. So, John, if they just took this story, which I think would work, I think the beauty of it, for me, at least one issue in, was that this is Dracula's back, baby, and we're not fucking adding bells and whistles. He doesn't have a motorcycle. He's not fucking using an Uzi to fight someone. He's not smashing a pop star.
Don't speak these things into existence.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I will hold you personally responsible. So look. So as Dracula's my guy, right? Of all the monsters, Dracula's my favorite. As far as, like, the vampires, obviously it's not even a joke. But the truth of the matter is that, like, all vampire stereotypes notwithstanding, he's one of these cats that has been rolled out and rolled out and rolled out and rolled out. And I think there is a reason why. It's because we feel like we all have ownership of the character.
Yeah.
Right? I can't even remember at this point, 47 years later, when Dracula first kind of, like, entered my personal sphere of recognition.
You don't think it was like for me, it's like the TBS Monster Vision. They showed all the fucking classic Universal monsters.
I mean,
because I got to Dracula, all my shit's in the wrong order. Because of you and very good brothering and very good parenting,
You're welcome.
I saw Young Frankenstein first.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is a romp. So when someone was like, want to watch Frankenstein? I'm like, they made a sequel? He's not so young anymore.
Oh, Mel Brooks just cannot stop.
And then I was like, there's surprisingly not a lot of jokes in this.
So sincerely, you might have become aware of Dracula with the TBS rebroadcasting of those Universal classics. But you were like, oh yeah, here we go. You know, you were down for that at that age.
So I believe
just the black and white. I'm sure.
I gotta be totally honest. I think it was the Hammer color one I may have seen first. And the Hammer one was like distinctly trying to not be Universal. Right. So it was like a little rough around the edges for me. So you have to remember, man, I've been pretentious since like early.
Oh, I know. I know.
Fuck.
You're not
so
fooling,
because of that, like there was something about the black and post Clerks, because again, I think it was Clerks first, then Young Frankenstein.
You knew Silent Bob before you knew Dracula
in black and white. Because I remember my thought when you first had Clerks available to me. My first thought was like, "Fuck this black and white shit. That's for old timies." And then someone was talking about cunnilingus, and I was like, "I'm gonna dedicate a large portion of my personality to this guy."
I'm all in. So that being said, I don't remember. I don't have a recollection.
I think it was you being I think you were in that very first Universal movie as a baby.
He was just always present, and Dracula was on the same level.
I wonder if it was like Alucard. Like, do you think the Nintendo game was like your first fucking interaction? You would have been the perfect age for it.
Definitely not, because again, don't forget, these are...
You're not fucking with Castlevania?
These are I know, as an eventuality, absolutely. And Ellis is right. Mexican Dracula does have...
I always worry about you.
Very much a lot to say. I mean, Blackula has a lot to say, too.
Blackula, classic.
Here's the point, is that because Dracula has been part of the zeitgeist for so long... and everyone feels like, well, that's mine. I can do what I want with that. We've had a billion different iterations and variations and takes on the character. Again, I don't know when he was first there, but it seems almost that it's been so long. He's just always been there. Yeah. Right. I'm thinking like, well, Dracula's just Draculaing it up out there and kind of doing what he's got to do. Now, granted, we went through that period of time, and it was an extended period of time where people thought, well, vampires. Of course, Nick, you don't trust Mexican Dracula because you don't trust any Mexicans, you racist fidget son of a bitch. I forgot to see Nick the other day at our boy Sean's bachelor party. I haven't seen Nick at Tenacio in a minute. Nick, I'm still a little drunk, but that was an awesome time. It was so good to see you. I gotta be honest, the other day.
If not for some personal information, I would assume Nick is a vampire because he hasn't been able to work out in like 9 months. He still has some abs left.
Nick
he's losing like one ab every 6 months. It's bullshit.
Nick might very much have the Benjamin Button situation going on because I'm like, how are you younger now?
Except it's all like white. Like he looks a little bit like he may have been
he can't help the whiteness.
He can't have everything.
Give him a break. Can't
help the whiteness is what I say every time he dances.
I can't help the whiteness. But that all being said, because we have gotten all these different iterations of the Dracula, the vampire of it all, we went through this stage collectively where people are like, well, I want to tell a vampire story, but I don't want to use the Dracula delivery system.
But social media is the blood they use. So like, shut up, fucking dweebs.
Thankfully, I didn't see that one.
That's my spec script.
Oh,
it didn't go very far.
Yikes, Christian, run, brother, run. But yeah, so we've had all these different, we've got sparkling vampires and funny vampires and ethnic vampires and vampires that don't drink blood and all these, and we've got very romantical vampires that sleep in the same coffins together and French vampires and blah 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 blah. Fill in the blank. Now the only reason I can speak to those blood sucking son of bitches is because I'm like, oh cool, a vampire, right? So then we went to the next stage of my awareness and like Dracula. But wait, and then you've had all these more current iterations. Again, probably starting with Dracula 2000. Yeah. My man, my pre-300 Leonidas, like, look what I can do. Homeboy from that 70s show, he's like, I didn't rape yet, but I will. So these were early days. But again, that for me started it where they started bringing back the Dracula version. So then we had... which, to my opinion, cinematically, the Dracula movie with Kanunu and company, still my favorite version of the Dracula proper.
Despite the French accent.
I'm easy breezy. Still my favorite version of the proper.
This
Dracula.
is problematic.
I mean, it is. It kind of is. But this is Dracula proper. This comic book.
This Dracula.
This is Dracula proper. However, I want to get to that before I forget the point. Charlie, the reason why I think the art being so important to this miniseries is because we think we know it.
Yeah.
We think we've already been kind of served that Dracula stuff. I mean, there was a recent Netflix series, maybe two years back. Awesome. It dealt specifically with the Dracula character. And the other thing that they love to do is to take the character and be like, oh, but what if it was today, though?
Yeah.
And, like, that's going to be the interesting take. Meanwhile, in the meantime, there has been all of this, this entire period of time that we don't know, right?
Yeah.
So we had the current version, which I've been hearing is supposed to get a sequel. The Dracula.
The boat Dracula?
Not the boat Dracula. That was the most recent one. It was named after the ship. Now, fuck, man. I would have been ready for this last week, guys.
Universal Monsters?
Nope. This was the Dracula with I forget this actor's name. So he played like Gaston in the live action Beauty and the Beast movie.
Not a reference I can.
He
I can
played.
place.
I know you're very cool.
No, not even that. It's that my memory's dog shit.
He played Zeus in Immortals.
Someone in the comment section, Google it for us.
If you see him, yeah, Paul.
It's
the Count on Sesame Street. 100% is underrated. I agree with you there. And Ellis, George Hamilton can do literally nothing wrong in my book. Whether he's playing Dracula, whether he's playing Zorro, whomever. But in any case, that was kind of like a Dracula Unlimited or something or another. That took more place like him becoming Dracula.
Yeah.
If I don't know if you remember the flick.
That feels like one of those movies that I probably got very excited by the first trailer, and then a second trailer I was like, nah, I'm good. Like fucking
Charlie, you live and die by the trailers.
Well, again, if I know I'm giving them my money, I won't watch more trailers. So that movie would have been helped by that.
You're like
the fact that I was like, I'll watch it on DVD.
All right. That's somewhat.
With that being said, though, for me, the art is what made it visceral. It's like the art is what brought me back to like, oh fuck, Dracula's scary. Because Dracula's been a fucking pimp for 20 years. And he got nerfed to be like, I know Paul was kidding, but fucking Count, the Count on Sesame Street being like, I'm a vampire, I don't suck blood, but I fucking will help you figure out arithmetic. Like, that motherfucker doesn't invoke fear, and it's a vampire. It's the vampire.
Dracula is the vampire.
So for me,
not the original vampire, not in that lore. But, like, definitely the big swinging dick
like,
of the vampire block.
You know who I would actually...
Dracula.
I was trying to think of, like, if they were going to adapt this version of Dracula, like, who would I want to see do it? And for me, it's like, what if Edgar Wright wanted to just go balls in with a horror film? I feel like he could bring the visceral nature to life because he plays with fucking color. And again, like, some people call it a crutch because they're fucking assholes and they're jealous. But like he plays a lot of times with music. Imagine like if he just had a dark score. And
he did the Soho movie.
That's true. Imagine
like
that even
right up that
10% fucking darker because again for me
Midnight in Soho or something in Soho.
I almost made a very inappropriate joke and I bit my tongue. I bit my tongue. I did it. I did it.
I'm proud of you.
That's one.
He's all grows up. He's all grows up.
But for me, it was like the again, it's incredibly frameable. You take any single frame from this and you put it on a wall, and someone's going, "That's museum quality."
One of the fun things, Edgar Wright. That's right.
I said Edgar Wright.
No, I'm saying Ellis has a little something to say.
Oh, why every time Ellis fucking doesn't know how to work his headphones? He's talking shit. Mother pus bucket.
My favorite is that he's coming from like different.
He's
like calling from different numbers.
Like he's watching us on MySpace.
Ellis, you're the absolute best. But no. What I was saying was. And I do agree with you. I do agree with you that
as you should.
His fangs have been kind of like
rounded
off a little bit to a degree because people like, oh, you like Dracula? What about this?
You like Dracula? Here's Morbius.
But like even something to me, even something like I think an unintentional, uh, you know, kind of like softening of the character. Something like oh boy, really good on the references today.
Admittedly, we've had a very
We've had 2 weeks to prepare for this.
Just to give everyone though those 2 weeks, like we straight up forgot we committed to things last Wednesday, and then we were like, we'll do it Friday, and then we fucking didn't.
Yeah.
And then we were like, we'll do it Saturday, and then we had like company over because we completely fucking forgot.
We're the worst.
We're not great at being organized, and we've done nothing this week that was like what we wanted to do. It's all been like obligations.
What was that movie where Wolverine, he's running around and like all you want to do is just look at Dracula's wives, and he's like, I got a crossbow. Look what I can do. Shut up.
Oh shit.
Oh god, that movie stunk on
that
ice.
movie was Van Helsing.
Van Helsing. And,
Van Helsing is arguably.
Oh, Van Helsing.
It is. What's fucked up about Van Helsing? If it was 20 minutes shorter, it might be on my like. I like it because it's bad. It keeps going to the point where I'm like, if fucking Wolverine needs his hat one more time, you're not Indiana Jones, you son of a bitch.
It was this close to being a musical, I swear.
It was also going to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
Imagine if we lived in
that's adorable
world.
But that all being said, the point that I ultimately wanted to make 20 minutes ago was that the art style of this comic, I think, was done so specifically so as to separate it from all these other different flavors of Dracula. Like, if the multiverse was real, we've seen all like the worst versions.
This
of
is like
Dracula,
the progenitor almost.
This is like the holiest of holy John timelines. This is the Dracula that matters.
Yeah.
This is the version that really kind of like speaks to the character at its core for me. Because look, humans, like as kids, we're afraid of the dark. Why?
I mean, I was badass.
I mean, you weren't. You're still afraid of the dark now. I'm not looking forward to that power.
It's a little dark in the studio. I don't like it.
But that being said, again, we're afraid of the dark as kids. Why? Because in our mind, we're like, well, not so much. I'm afraid to take a drink from him.
Oh yeah.
More so because like, well, anything can be the dark.
Yeah.
Anything could be out there, and my little feverish nerd child brain can think of some terrible things that are hiding in
that to me.
Hold on, let me finish.
Jesus Christ.
But I mean, he's not in the dark. But as adults, we're afraid of monsters and like the ghoulies and what have you. Not the literal ghoulies. We are afraid of monsters. What's a monster gonna really do to you? Kill you? So do cheesesteaks if you eat enough of them and you
I've been trying too.
Monsters do what? Like, what's the great fear?
They fuck you up?
No, they'll eat you.
Oh man.
They will eat you. Jaws is Jaws because the shark is like, "Hi, I'm Bruce," and just eats you till there's nothing left. You're not even leftovers. And Dracula is just another variation of this motherfucker will eat you.
Well, that to me,
you're done. That's the ultimate scare, and this gives it his teeth back.
Mine was, again, to your point, it's not a good death. This was the first time in a long time I'm like, Dracula getting to you is not only are you fucked, you're all the way fucked. You're gonna die screaming, and they almost use the art and the shadow, and they use their staging and their framing to allow for this to be like the first time to my knowledge, he's been like a straight up predator. Like he before has been like a very much sexual predator. See Dracula 2000 for not just the cast.
6 and 1,
that's what you get, you curly headed fuck. But it was cool seeing him. Again, it's always been an underutilized facet for Dracula, in my opinion, that he can kind of become a wolf. He can become a fucking shit ton of bats, whatever the fuck. This time, it's like, yo, let him be a wolf when he eats me. Because the fucking Dracula in his humanoid form is the scariest fuck of all time. And that was out of one issue. 22 pages. It's more than once. There's frames where I'm like, I need that as an art frame.
It's done so well. And you know what? So infamously, I got the chance to play Dracula in the musical format. and there was a lot of
Bitches.
there were,
Oh, yeah.
but there was a lot of kind of silliness involved. It wasn't comedy or anything like that, but like some of it was very like, can you believe we're doing this? In my mind, I just straight up I played it like he could have been a supernatural Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, he's the murderer. And many murderers, if you watch any late night TV show, any of these docu series where like we're gonna teach you how to be a better killer, all of these predator type personalities, in their mind, there's a reason.
Yeah.
Right now, Dracula just happens to have a biological reason, but like I said prior, we're getting away from it. I think the ultimate point of this comic series is that it frames a story that you're familiar with, a character that you're familiar with, that we all on some level feel like we have ownership of, and it frames it in such a literal, beautiful way that we've never seen this ultimately familiar character in. I mean, literally every page is like a watercolor masterpiece. It is just a beautiful book about some hellacious content, and probably forget about King of the Vampires, which I don't think there's any debate about. We were speaking about characters like this in regular life, like the Don Drapers of the world, the Walter Whites,
characters that dumb cucks are like, this is who I want to be. Like, shut up, idiot.
Even more so, characters who are unquestionably the villains of a particular stories, where we're just like, I can't wait to see what he does next. He is the king of those type of characters, and if you put aside everything else, put aside the vampirism, if you put aside the Catholicism angle, put aside the time frame, put aside the historical context, because Vlad the Impaler was a legitimate bad motherfucker. I mean, there are parts of the world where he's still considered to this day a hero, and historically we know he put plenty of motherfuckers up on pointy sticks, like he was a caterer at a walk around wedding. Look, people have strong opinions about the character. Check out this comic.
It is such an easy buy.
It's an automatic. It's an
because
automatic
someone picked up World Tree after 2 weeks ago. We talked about it, and they hit me back with like, "You're absolutely right." Because of course we are. Their one takeaway is that it may not have been the most accessible. Like, they were thinking of it in terms of someone who like maybe didn't love the Matrix or didn't love sci-fi. Like, there was a certain amount of
There wasn't accessible reading wise or attaining wise.
Just reading wise. Like there's the story took a minute for them to like fully embrace the world, and once they did. Once they did, they were able to
once the overall started coming up, people were like, I'm in. Let's go.
Nipple goes a long way for some of our buddies. But the thing about Dracula is everyone has an impression already. Yeah. And I think the other thing that I don't want to let the segment go by without saying, what's really brilliant, and I think something about your performance specifically in the staged version of Dracula, is a lot of people, the go-to is you sell it with your eyes. You sell that sort of intensity because you can be smiling, but if you fucking cover up your lips, you're like, Jesus fucking Christ, it's a wolf. That's just sexy. That's just
girls.
Perfect. What's amazing about this book, there are times where they completely don't paint in the eyes. There's characters who their teeth are telling the story, their lips are telling the story, their silhouette is telling the story, and when they do lock in to a silhouette maybe taking over most of the frame, and you see like who's going to be a victim in front of them, it is so fucking beautifully it's beautifully violent. Yeah. Whereas like you turn the page almost with like a fucking tremble because you're like, oh, this person's fucked. And sometimes they're not, because Dracula's a fucking asshole.
You feel like it's like, oh,
Dracula pulls that fucking 1980s horror movie shit where he's like, I see him in the background, you cock. He's up. He's gone. It's fucking it's incredible. My final thought,
man knows what he's doing.
Before I kick it to you, there's a lot of discussion, there's a lot of discourse about the state of comic books right now. So the fact that ultimately a book character and a movie character, I think he's most famous for being a movie character, Dracula, is like what's in my heart.
Well, because people are dum-dums.
Him jumping over to the 22-page funny book format. Again, these sort of books are proof that the business of comics right now, I think, is in like it's in another renaissance. I think we have books like this coming from someone like Universal, we have consistent high quality books that don't get fucking talked about enough. And this is one of them. If you like the form factor of a comic book, if you like a horror story, if you like just a good story, this is fucking checking all those boxes. And it's in a time where allegedly the business is down. It's down because the main two companies can't figure out their fucking spandex and capes. There's a billion other books. There's a billion other flavors. And this is a delicious, horrifying flavor.
Yeah, I mean, it's without question, it's a horror book in the sense that like the horror books were romantic and they had something to say. I mean, the Tomb of Dracula did so much for comics that it's like even hard to acknowledge at this point, because sometimes once something has been done, you don't look backwards.
Yeah.
In this case, Dracula's always got
fucking look backwards. Yeah.
Man, he doesn't stop. He literally doesn't stop. Final thought, pick the book up if you haven't already. I'm most looking forward to, because I famously or infamously, depending on who you ask, I tend to read newer Lucy's digitally, and then once something is published as a trade paperback, then I make sure that I own it. Kristen, looking at you. But yeah, so the second, this is 4 of 4. So it's an automatic. It's a guarantee to be collected edition popping out.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna put it right up on the bookshelf where it belongs. So highly recommended by both Riveras, which you really can't ask for more than that. And look, if anybody tells you with garlic around their neck and a stake and a hammer in hand, like, oh yeah, sure, Dracula, he ain't shit. He's not the king of the vampires. That person is looking at you, and they are one thing and one thing only, just like that chinless earmuffs. That chinless summer bitch, George Toy Boy Lucas. Charlie, did you know? Hans off first there. Hans off first.
Because George Lucas is a liar.
Yeah, he's right. That too. It's been a couple weeks, man.
Such a heavy shot. Holy shit. What did I do to myself?
Hands up. Meanwhile, this was delicious. Thank you, mozzarella.
It tastes like clothing soap. Delicious. John.
Your mom rinsed that off.
Probably not.
Definitely
Our
not.
assistant is doing her damnedest. She just got her whole house back. I'm not gonna discredit her.
A couple days.
So, I love comics. I love the form factor of comics. I saw a trailer 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
For fucking Madam Web. We have gone through so many fucking Spidermans that Madam Web is getting a movie, and we will at some point talk probably about only the trailer, because John, this is Morbius level bad for me. But I was blessed because every now and then I get to go into the comic book store and I'm surprised by something. And what I saw on that shelf in a fucking a fucking comic book lane, comic book boulevard, covered in newish Spider-Man books with fucking Kid Spider-Man and all this dog shit, I got to see my boy Superior Spider-Man #1 again. I get another bite, and I said, Superior, am I gonna get like missing stories? Is there like a bunch, because a bunch of shit happened in that time frame, and there's like kind of Doc Ock romance and a nice vibrant. So I grabbed this issue like a fucking asshole because it said Superior Spider-Man #1, and I open it the fuck up, and John, what the fuck did they do to my boy? I fucking hate Spider-Man. Why did I fucking think that they wouldn't do this to me again? And that's what they did. They did this to me. Because the book is called what? Superior Spider-Man #1. Who should fucking be in the story?
Doc Ock.
Right? As fucking Spider-Man, right? And Peter Parker's swinging around, and it's a fucking continuation of elements of Superior Spider-Man. but with a fucking heavy dose of, I would say, inarguably, the dumbest comic book interpretation of Peter Parker ever. Because, spoiler alert, I guess, this dumb fuck owns robots that patrolled the city at one point. That wasn't tech lost to him, right? In the original Superior Spider-Man, he had a bunch of like little droid robots. You see him in fucking Disney now.
Right. So catch people up. If anyone who's out there who didn't catch the actual Superior Spider-Man in his initial run, again,
Thank you.
spoiler alert.
This helps. Context.
So Doc Ock believes that he has killed, quote unquote, killed Peter Parker. Not Spider-Man. He killed Peter Parker. He knows my man's identity. Clearly he has a problem with Peter Parker. But he kills his essence.
Soul? Yeah.
He kills his spirit.
Vibe.
Like basically he ghostbusts him in effect, but he wasn't dead.
My man.
Quite yet.
A man of science and integrity.
And he's like, robot arm to the chin. And then in the meat, he's like, you know what would be cool though?
Abs.
I want to take that body. So Doc Ock not only kind of eliminates Peter Parker from the convenience of walking around, but he then takes Peter Parker's spider-powered body. He's like, you know what costume sucks? This one. You know what I really miss? My Doc Ock leggy legs. And he gives us, in my humble opinion, the best non-symbiote version of the Spider-Man costume that we have ever seen.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we got, if my timeline is correct, we got Superior Spider-Man before we met Miles Morales.
I think Miles was already around. I think
was it?
Maybe close. I can't fact check that.
Regardless, my absolute favorite version, black-eyed, steely beauty, all leggy legs. And he was Superior Spider-Man. And for the people in the streets, they were like, Spider-Man's a dick. He gets it done. Granted,
Yeah.
he was like
Efficient. He's efficient.
He was like, imagine if Judge Dredd all of a sudden was wearing a dope, more black than blue, and the red's about the same version of the character. Just a dynamite visual version of Spider-Man, and again, one that did not play. He did not mess around. And what was interesting was I'm on the record as not really enjoying per se redemption arcs.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my god, I think that's, you can speak
But
for
this
both of us. We
was-
fucking hate that.
This was as close to like, no, I get it. It was like the ultimate walk a mile in my shoes type of story. And I was like, oh, I got it. If all it took was a little bit of a sacrifice of a Peter Parker, don't worry about it. There's a million of them out there. I didn't mind. I was all for it. Now, fast forward, these many years later, and the one thing that
They're like, we love money.
DC and Marvel are both exceedingly guilty at, they go back to the fact that DC had the moral, had the moral black hole in their souls. Like, oh, Kingdom Come, you like that? Let's make another terrible version, though.
Yeah.
It just shows that they will consistently go back to the well, regardless of the narrative calling for it. This is Marvel doing that same version.
Only now it's affecting me. Like, whereas...
Thank you, Paul.
And just to
Paul
make
knows
it...
what's up.
Paul giving credit to John for the wonderful synopsis.
Marvel going back to the well.
To make sure this is clear for Ellis, Doc Ock took over the body of Peter Parker. So Abs, it is, for all intents and purposes, it's the exact same Spider-Man we knew, except those mind swaps.
Physically, like his fingerprints would have been able to open up his banking app on his phone. But inside the coconut, it's Doc Ock.
Yeah, and then they did this whole thing where it becomes very comic booky, where it's like Spider-Man was still in there and he fought his way out. But the whole idea of calling him Superior Spider-Man was Doc Ock was like, if I had these abilities,
Yes!
I would be able to cure crime. I'd be able to run a business.
Doc Ock was playing the same game that we all play.
Yeah.
Like, well, if I was Superman, I would not be sitting in this traffic.
But what's amazing is like Parker, Freaky Friday in Tito. He winds up having Parker Industries. He winds up getting a more stable love life with a woman who was very short.
Doc Ock gets it down.
He does get it down like a little degen. But John, look what they did to my boy. First of all, Superior Spider-Man's not in this fucking comic except in a flashback. Secondly, Doc Ock, who, because of shenanigans, has forgotten again who Peter Parker and Spider-Man is. But Peter Parker, literally, and spoiler, this book sucks. Don't buy it. fuck this book. Fuck Marvel. Stop buying Marvel comics. Oh, that's how mad I am. For the next 6 months, no Marvel comics.
So angry this kid.
So he literally, first of all, Spider-Boy is all up in this bullshit, right?
Oh, can I just say, I please hold the thought.
Oh, if you call me fucking Spider-Boy, you're getting one right to the...
Look, sidekick, I would never...
Fuck you.
I would never pin you with that terrible, terrible moniker. So like Charlie alluded to, look, so the Peter Parker that we know of has been kind of like dealing with some stuff by the time that he gets back to the events of this now comic, and he's like, "Woo, I'm back, baby!" Like an episode of Family Guy. Clearly, everything resets, and we're gonna open the credits, and things are gonna be just like normal. Wrong. Like my man Charlie Murphy said, wrong. So Spidey gets back to what he thinks is like a normal Tuesday, but he Back to the Future Tuesday. Yeah. He's like, what are you talking about? That's not even the girlfriend I left behind a minute ago.
Motherfucker has a sidekick now.
Like, whoa. So the greatest sin perpetrated on the comic book reading universe were fucking sidekicks, man. Oh, you like this character? Here is a younger, junior, worst version. I was gonna say less good. Worst version of that character that you say you like. That
you're not the Teen Titans on. Every sidekick.
Every Teen Titan piece of shit. But that again. Let me put it to you this way.
But it's okay. So
Captain Marvel, properly named, now they call him Shazam for some reason, but they took away his movie, so I can't be too hard on him. So who's referred to now as Shazam? Charlie.
Yes.
That's a juvenile person.
Yeah.
That speaks the magic words.
Identifies as
Shazam, and turns into this.
How fucking rad would it be if it turned out you were Shazam? And like we just learned it now, like you had never out loud said it before.
No, it'll be some kind of like goofy thing, like
you become like a mouse.
I'll be like, I've got a tiny peanut. And I just changed.
Someone took that. I need to update your J date.
But again, that being said, so you have a juvenile character, insanely popular in the comics, was outselling Superman at that point.
Fucking nerd.
And they say, you know what? This kid character who turns into the Superman-like hero, you know what he really needs? A sidekick who is also a juvenile character, but looks like a juvenile character.
They should have switched it. Should have been an old man. It was like Shazam. You become a young, virile child.
Yeah, we talked about Kingdom Come. Right?
Oh, yeah.
But that's how invasive this concept of the sidekick is now.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yep.
Charlie, when Spider-Man was conceived,
well, the young guy.
When Stan Lee just fucking gave birth to him, was he like a married man?
No, very much a young high school student.
Yeah, that was the whole point of the character, that he was a young character. So now Charlie, why did they Shazam my man and give him a spider sidekick?
Because if the junior Ghostbusters from the real Ghostbuster cartoon taught me anything, is kids want to read and interact about kids. It's not that every child wants to pretend they're an awesome adult. It's that a bunch of adults want to pretend they're little, stupid, fucking kids. And it stinks. John.
Ugh.
So, I get bamboozled. Because I don't fucking mess with Parker. Parker kick rocks.
Your hatred of him.
To your point, though. Peter Parker was a young man. He grew to now a fucking straight up man. Motherfucker's like 40 in the books.
Well, he's still kind of a young man.
He's not exactly. He got some grays though.
But aging in comics, obviously, as we all know, is very subjective.
Yes.
You know?
He is a fucking man though. So then they invent Miles Morales. They're like, let's get an Afro-Latino in this motherfucker, get some youth back up there. Now they got another kid that I don't fucking want to read about, because I don't want to read about Peter Parker and his amazing friends. I want Doc Ock and Pete's body. But what this comic did was, it was like page 3, they're in Times Square and the camera almost catches Spider-Boy or Spider-Lad, whatever the fuck his name is, taking off his mask. And Pete's like, don't do that. you'll get caught. And like fucking Chekhov's gun, the goddamn tail end of this book, Peter's like, no, don't do in this alley that's crawling with robots. If you're in Manhattan, you should have an apartment for your superhero identity because there's fucking cameras everywhere. This dumb dummy.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. He had to peel off the fucking mask, and then Doc Ock is like, oh, having some Murgatroyd. John, why the fuck?
Not great.
Why the fuck do you bring back a character and in 22 pages you do not have the character doing anything? They have a flashback and Spider-Boy's like, this is the time I interacted with him. What if I don't give a fuck about Spider-Boy? What is the fucking point of having these? This is a sincere question.
Yeah.
What is the point of having these different imprints if you're going to exclusively sell me the main thing? It's always been my fucking complaint. When you have a bad writer, and I'll pick on DC for a second. If you have a bad writer working on multiple Superman titles, if he has Action Comics, and if he has Superman, that's fucking dumb. Why are you having one guy across two books tell similar but not one giant story?
Yeah.
If you're going to have multiple fucking imprints, I want Action Comics to feel different than Superman. I want Detective Comics to feel different than fucking Batman. I want Superior Spider-Man to feel fucking different than Amazing Spider-Man. I do not think it is too much for me to fucking ask as a consumer that you fucking give me what you sold me. It is like, it's fucked up, dude. Like, I understand what I'm ultimately complaining about is $4, but they fucked me for $4.
No, it's not about the money.
They fucked me.
It's Charlie. It's about the anticipation of the product that you're gonna get. So what was funny was you broke your own rule.
Yep.
When you hooked up, right? You're like, oof, it's kind of late at the bar. Usually this is not great shakes. I'd rather just go home and handle my own business. But then you look down the bar, the lighting was a little dim, but there was a Spider-Man that just
Give me those.
Girl,
Come here to look.
Just looked a little different. I hate to see him leave, but I love to watch him go type of presentation. And Superior Spider-Man, look, I am a Spider-Man fan. I like the character. Charlie and I differ there. But even as being a fan of Spider-Man proper, because my man and I both been through some shit, I get it. And I know that sometimes sidekicks, they just kind of just show up decades later. But that all being said,
You and your problem with redheads
whoa.
is none of my business.
It's not a problem, kid.
They ain't got no souls, John. MJ ain't got no soul.
Whatever. James Brown. But that all being said,
No, I want to keep.
As a fan of Spider-Man, I'm still very perturbed with the bait and switch, which is really what happened here. It's not even about the character, because with the Kingdom coming on the heels of Kingdom Come, that wasn't a bait and switch.
This is GOG.
In as much of like, well, okay, here is something that's going to be attached to that other content that I love so much. It wasn't a bait and switch. It just sucked. It was a shitty. It was like a Disney straight to video sequel.
It was Aladdin too.
Whereas like this, in this case, yeah, granted, not great material, but like it's, you open up the case to Aladdin 2 and Simba is in that shit.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, what are you talking about? No, this is, you have to double check your receipt to make sure you didn't even buy the wrong thing. It was an insult of a sin.
Can I be
of
really
a mistake.
Can I be really honest?
I mean, I wish you would.
I want to be at the marketing meeting, because I think if you build this as Superior Spider-Man and Spider-Boy, if it was just going to be about the flashback, if this was going to be like, even if it was a one-shot setup, before you say, hold on to that thought,
That's
like, all you would have done was prevent me from going on the internet and being like, fuck this book, because now I will not read part 2. I don't care where it goes. I don't care if it's all previous stories. I don't care if it's going to do another body swatch. Go fuck itself now. You tricked me. Enjoy the $4. You're not going to get 4 fucking more.
That's fair. Or keep your cover. Keep your not so great story. Let's be honest.
Weak story.
that's not Superior Spider-Man #1. That is Marvel Presents the aftermath of Superior Spider-Man.
Yep.
You know what you're getting into. You don't want to go and think you're getting Coke Zero, and then you get, milk and peanut juice, and it kills Charlie because he is riotously allergic to both. Paul asks a very interesting question. Paul asks, Charlie, could you be a Superior Spider-Man better than Peter Parker? I'm going to go ahead, Paul, and if you don't mind, I'm going to add a rider onto that. First thing that you do.
Not being a bullying prick.
Huh.
You can be, like, sarcastic without fucking going down. This is my problem with Spider-Man, legitimately. He fucking Doc Ock, you fat fuck. Like, that is a doctor. That is a doctor, you fucking disrespectful little shit. You're a Sandman. There's a billion fucking... You get someone... How did you get sand in your own vagina? There's a billion jokes. You don't have to be like, ha, you don't have custody of your daughter. Like, Spider-Man insults real shit. Like, what a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Spider-Man is like the mafia of superheroes.
And then just for fucking funsy, you're Spider-Man. Again, one of the times where people remember you in the Fantastic Four. You have all these connections. Maybe tell your fucking girlfriend you're working for the Fantastic Four. You don't have to tell her you're Spider-Man, but be like, fucking, a superhero needs my assistance sometimes. Tell people you're the Jimmy Olsen to fucking any goddamn body, so she's not just thinking you're abandoning her at her Broadway debut. So fucking asshole. He's an asshole.
Just to clarify, forget about Charlie. Not even mixing metaphors, mixing entire media versions of characters.
That show is important to her.
But she stinks. But that being said, forget about like do-goodery. Forget about changing costumes. Which, if my money was on the answer, I'm like,
pants.
Sassy boy over here. He is immediately changing.
I would look like Spider-Boy. I'd be in shorts.
You would look like you're in AEW. You'd have like a Spider Championship. You'd be like, that's your version.
My version is stop being a superhero, be a wrestler again.
Like, oh, Spider-Man's gonna make me feel bad. He's just like flexing on him, like, and then, this is you.
Someone on Twitter fucking says my brand. Ellis is like, you fucking suck. I show up at his house like, did you say on October 3rd that AAW wrestling won't last a year?
His first #1 to-do list, when he has achieved near godlike superhero powers, of like, nah, this is the way I would lie to those people close to me. I would lie about this or that or the other.
Yeah, like a gentleman. Like a gentleman.
Look, man, I get it. I definitely get it.
I'm a gentleman.
That's freaking hilarious.
Final thought. My final thought is real fucking simple.
Yeah.
If we haven't learned our lessons from things like Watchmen, fucking even more Dark Knight, Kingdom Come, having a follow-up with Kingdom, please, comic book companies,
Aladdin 2.
Oh, you can have it both ways. You can give us more. I'm the more is more guy. You can give us more without fucking lying to me. I'll even let you keep your dog shit comic covers that are never in the fucking book.
Or you can take your time.
Take your time.
Give us more, because you're selfish. We're greedy
and
bastards.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the writer has this great plan. But if that's the case, you got to tee it off correctly. Otherwise, you will fucking face my wrath.
It ain't pretty.
Don't forget to... Oh, yeah. I got a note from our executive producer. Aggressively slid
that was like
onto the door. John,
Charlie.
My biggest fucking problem, dude, is that these fuckers are clearly just paying bills. And like most of our fucking horseshit competitors in the pod space, they just will fucking sell out to any goddamn brand, but not us. We're better than that. We're not just going to sell for any random that's willing to pay, unless it's a lot. No. Today, we're once again brought to you by one of our absolute favorite bands, Bad Mary. You heard them during the intro. You're going to hear and see them during the end of the show. If you're wondering where else you can catch their act, you can follow them at Bad Mary Band across all social media platforms. You can support them over at patreon.com/Bad Mary Band. You can stay up to date at badmary.com for merch and upcoming performances. My favorite part, their whole discography is available on every music streaming service. And if you guys are like me, your Spotify wrap-up was mostly fucking Bad Mary this year.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Again.
Given. But then it does still leave the question, where we dropping? The answer, as always, is with Sergeant Finesse. lately he's been back messing around a little bit on the Facebook, but predominantly streaming on kick.com. Make sure you to check him out. He's playing again. He's a variety streamer, so he'll step away from World of Warcraft for like a few months, and then they'll come out with an expansion, and boom, he's at it again. So his days are consist of mornings over in Azeroth playing some WoW, and then now Call of Duty just came out officially with their Modern Warfare 3, which has a ton of additional content,
like Omni-Man and shit.
The boys are in there, not Omni-Man, but the boys are.
Oh
in
yeah,
there. It's a bunch of fun stuff. But yeah, that all being said, again, he's a great gamer, very entertaining. So do yourself a favor, check him out today. Co-streams, giveaways, contests. Don't be a sucker. See what he's all about. Also, as well as if you're not going to tune into the Facebook or kick.com, over on Twitch, our boy Joker's stream _. He's doing the Fortnite thing. Fortnite just taught
holy shit.
It's basically a new game. They got attachments. They've got a first person view down. If you down the scope, different animations, different game styles. They added like a Roblox killer Lego version. They
I think it comes out today.
It's out. Yeah. They officially they added the soccer game, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
It was always connected
something
to the
League
company.
Racing.
Something League Racing. I think that's the official
name.
But yeah, the
sponsored by something Team Racing.
Elements of that are actually in the game. A hell of a lot of fun to play. So check out the Joker. Check out Sergeant. You know what's to do.
We also have one more. As you guys know, I am your total Protonic champion, raising charity money all year round, but Christmas is my favorite time to do it because John and I were very, very lucky. We always got the best toys. Sometimes I got John's best Christmas toy as my best Christmas toy, and I immediately lost the helmet. John, this last Monday night, I did participate in a major podcast Christmas Toys for Tots toy drive. It's their 4th annual. The Long Island Ghostbusters decided to do a raffle just for them. We personally raised over $3,000. We were able to get over 300 toys thanks to Ringside Collectibles and their amazing deals. But I'm very happy to say that the Major Brothers and their podcast that's named after their original gimmick was able to raise over $30,000 worth of fucking toys. And I think 2 or 3 weeks is all they did that drive for. Absolutely incredible.
Level.
Next year, I am coming for that title. Once again, we did not donate enough. Believe it or not, $3,000 didn't win it. So just gotta fucking do more next year, and it is a pleasure to do it. But John, another toy drive reached out to us. We have another amazing giveaway. If you got $5, you got, starting today, you have only 5 days to donate $5 towards our toy drive, and that'll get you entered into our 2 in the box giveaway. We're giving away a Proton. We're giving away a Ghost Trap, rather. I'll take what you got. Thanks. We have a Ghost Trap giveaway and a PKE meter giveaway from our good friends over at Hasbro. 100% of every single penny of that $5 donation go directly towards some toys for these lovely, lovely kids. More details can be found on either my social media or the LI Ghostbusters page.
Can we confirm that they're on the nice list?
No,
I'm not trying to get no.
No, I specifically asked for the naughty kids. I want the bad kids to get some toys.
Your ilk.
Yeah, my people.
Take care of your people.
My people. Yeah, I go by. What was that? We just watched it the other night. Who's Fred Claus? I go by Fred Claus rules. No such thing as a naughty kid. Just a kid without a gift.
Another one who looks really good for his age. He's got the Nick Atanasio.
That's true. I've always said that. Nick is an average age that guy because I forget the actor's name. LI Ghostbusters. $5 is all you need. You don't get anything for it other than the gross satisfaction of helping us help some kids.
Gross.
Again, we're looking down the barrel. We need at least $300 to be the value of what I have contributed, which is the Trap and PKE. We're hoping to exceed that. We have a very good start.
Of course.
This is probably the best odds of winning, though, because we are doing it only 5 days from now. When you're seeing this, just to Sunday. So if you're listening to this, shit out of luck. Sorry. So this is only for my
USComics will
viewers.
share all of that content also as myself.
Oh, thank
personally,
you. I appreciate that.
I'm super more popular than Charlie, so we'll get the word out.
I don't like the way that's I felt like I just did something so cool, And
Whatever, sidekick.
I mean, Alley Catch thinks I'm fucking cool. Hey, John,
What?
I am far too rich to hit the button myself. Can you hit that button for me? Yes, so busy. I have to tie my tie. in
What
real
the hairy
time.
hell? Is this the right building? Hold on a second. With all due, I realize you're putting your tie on now. It's
Yeah.
not the most professional thing, but that's still fine. Sir,
Yes.
you seem pretty young to be executive decision maker.
My father owns this business, but I earned this job.
Anyone who sees the knot on this tie would know
Is that not?
that is very questionable.
It's pretty good.
All right, sir, you're wearing a tie, and this is the executive elevator.
So you will respect me.
I won't, and now I'm deaf, so I do not appreciate that. But that all being said, I'm going
you,
to
that's a good knot.
assume it's
You know that's a good knot.
great. But that all being said, I'm still gonna learn you something, you goddamn whippersnapper.
Who the fuck is this old man talking to me like this?
Pay attention, son of a bitch.
You know what? I like the cut of your jib. My dad taught me any man willing to stand up to a child
And folks-
is a man willing to take advantage of.
Ultimately, the lesson, if any, to be learned from this is when you need something from someone in authority over you, lay hands on that motherfucker. Teach them who you are.
But yeah, well, I need a fucking bitch.
Charlie, Mr.
Excuse me. It is Lord Charlington.
What kind of
It's a very soft
soap
shot.
was in here? Shut up and listen for once.
You shut up and talk.
So that being said, Charlie, I'm going to sincerely ask you
Yeah.
what your knowledge of Buck Rogers is.
It is limited exclusively to the Daffy Duck interpretation.
So Duck Dodgers is on his face.
Duck
Is
Dodgers,
really where
I
you're at.
assumed was the
Okay.
original. I assumed Buck was the knockoff.
I mean, you ain't there. You ain't there. But I'm happy though to
Who
say
plays the pig?
you were. I'm happy that your answer to that was not limited to say South Park,
Yeah.
because South Park very famously
I apologize.
did.
The tails. Let me tuck that.
It's all-
like every pro.
South Park did a really, really nice job of alluding to the Buck Rogers lore without it being slammed in your face. And Ellis coming correct as always. Aaron Gray as Wilma. Oh boy, that shit made a man out of me. Let me tell you something right now.
I will say this. I know
Ooh,
dick about
Aaron
Buck
Gray.
Rogers. I know the image that we used
you
for
can
this.
Close your eyes.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
That tinfoil outfit all day.
Aaron. Oh, I love you so much. So I'll catch you up a little bit. So properly, the property that I am referring to is Buck Rogers Beyond the 25th Century.
Oh shit.
The show that
That's later.
as a kid, the show that I caught as a kid, was a show that was primetime television back in the good old day when there was like 4 channels. It was Buck Rogers in the 25th century. So Buck Rogers, based on the characters and concepts introduced in the 1928 novella Armageddon 2419 AD by Philip Francis Nolan. So that was
Good
one
old
of those.
Philip Francis.
You know what it is, Charlie? Back in this era of writing, and like they would write stuff and it would show up in a sci-fi magazine. It would end up getting collected,
Yeah.
like our comics do now, stuff like that. And like, oh, now it's in book format with hardcovers and what have you. It was very much in kind of that vein of John Carter on
Okay,
Mars,
yeah.
something like that, like a fish out of water type story. Now, in this case, in the original novella, it wasn't quite what we knew of as the series, as the fuck, his name escapes me, but it'll come to me. Gil Gerard, he played Buck Rogers in the show.
Okay.
Now, looking back, in 2023, I think of like, well, that show it must have been on the air for like, 10 years, 15 years. Ellis is again, right? Absolutely one of the best intros to a television series that there was. Charlie, it was in effect what we talk about, the introduction I'm talking about, did what the Incredible Hulk TV series did.
Better or worse than Duck Dodgers? Because Duck Dodgers intro was fucking
Everything
Gucci.
is better. Everything is better.
How dare you?
So, but you know what I'm talking about? The way that Hulk, the Incredible Hulk series, told us what the entire setup. That's what the Buck Rogers introduction did. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'll do that for you non-reading motherfuckers for the novella. It was really more so, fish out of water, but the story that was built around it was, again, in the title, Armageddon, right? It was Earth had gotten into some shit, and here's a guy from the past. Again, Planet of the Apes is another. And
he's from the past? I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, so he's from the past. So when he comes swaggering into the situation,
how come all these bitches are in tinfoil?
Like, why is everybody wearing white, and why do we have like gay pride flags? Is everybody did the LGBTQs win?
He's like, I'm fine with it.
Like, I don't understand things. I'm from the 70s. Help me out. So here's this cat.
He was our mom.
so they're like the spinning circle, and again, this is what was funny to me with the South Park reference was all of that shit was in the South Park reference material, and
masters.
people were like, I don't know what that means, but I like it. Like the spinning circle.
Were you
and
fucking
whatnot.
furious when people were like,
No, it just put me further up on a pedestal that I put myself. I'm like, I know more than you, therefore I'm better. But they told the entire story again that I'm going to tell you now. Here's this cat. He was an astronaut in this version. In the book version, he was like just like a miner. Like not a child, a miner like deep in the ground. And,
that would have been a very interesting version. Fucking kid Spider-Man in space.
in the book, he hit upon like a certain gas line or whatever, and this combination of elements knocked him out and put him in a state of suspended animation.
Oh shit! So it was like a wormhole?
Not a wormhole. He just like knocked himself out. He's like, I'll see you in 500 years.
Do you think he woke up so refreshed?
No, he had to pee like you read about, bro.
In real life, he's been covered in a
Oh yeah, he like leave that urine stench monster alone. In the series, he's an astronaut, gets caught up in like a solar storm type situation, and then the spinning wheel. He goes spinning through space, suspended animation, totally fine.
Oh, okay, still suspended.
But when he arrived, yes, it's like Futurama. I'm sure they ripped off Futurama decades before the fact. But that'll be
shiny ass metal coming up.
I hope so. Now, so what we're gonna do at this point is we're going to reboot this property for one reason. Now, originally when I sat down and thought I need some more Buck Rogers in my life, this is one of those sci-fi properties that have been left dusty on the shelf for no good reason.
Yeah.
I ended up having to remind myself, Charlie, there was only like 1.7 seasons.
Oh wow.
Of the original content that I have loved
That's
as
just
a
burnt
kid.
into your brain.
Again, this was primetime television at its in its day, and then after only like a season and a half, when they put it away, I got it on Saturday afternoons.
They were like, only 40 million people are watching each episode. What a bomb! Like back then.
Unbelievable. I'm pitching, Ellis. I'm pitching, but I gotta educate the kid first. So that being said, the first season was very much Buck as Peter Parker. He was like a wise, cracking, but also you were seeing the world, that future world as it was, through his eyes.
Okay.
Right? He was the viewer. So like, oh, Buck, what we do is this. He was Demolition Man.
Also,
right?
a bunch of seashells running around.
Buck's like, how do I wipe my ass with that? Fuck shit, goddamn, and then he gets a bunch of paper out of the machine. So we got to learn that world through the eyes of Buck, and we could barely take our eyes off of Erin Gray's ass because she looked just great. But then also as well as there was that beady the robot to beat all robots. R2, you can take a walk. C3PO, don't even try it. My favorite,
like that,
Robbie. I'll stick it. You get your butt plug shaped self out of here. Charlie, Twiki is the robot that you want. He is your ride and die robot to beat all other robots. But Paul, we're gonna get to that. Another
Bird dude,
very famous reference that most people like. I love this thing that's clearly referencing something that I don't have any fucking idea what it is. So Charlie, are you familiar with a certain Rick and Morty character that shows up over and over? Matter of fact, even married my girl's like high school classmate, Bird Person from
Yes.
Rick and Morty.
I am very familiar with
Bird
Bird
Person is a direct reference to Hawk, who was a bird person that appeared on Buck Rogers. And Charlie, I'll show you the picture of Bird Person because it looks just like the drawn. The Hawk looks just like Bird Person. Come on, I get that one. I get that.
I was wondering what the fuck the
Oh
point of that
man,
was.
Bird Person, I love you. So that actually speaks to the difference between season 1 and season 2 point, whatever. The first season very much had Buck as like a. So the showrunners, this was just off of the successful run, however, eventual cancellation of who's he? What's it's no with that was later. No, with the Cylons and with
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica. So Battlestar Galactica shit shows up
fuck.
later in the.
They're like, we don't need to make new shit.
We got this stuff lying around. So, Battlestar Galactica. They had just done it. It wrapped for whatever reason. Like, we'll bring the biggest cocksmith back in the series as a girl in a few years. It'll be hilarious. But that all being said, they wanted another sci-fi project. So you had Buck as kind of like this Captain Kirkish, kind of like swaggering, wisecracking cat.
They're like, he figured out fucking the future now.
He's like, oh, I got frozen for 500 years and I was hurtling through space, but now I'm here now as well as. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hit on every girl. So the princess,
we call that the John Rivera effect.
woo boy. So the princess who was the opposition in the show, like the royal kind of like the authority. She loved Buck. She was like, she was smitten. She had the thunderbolt. She's like, I'm getting some of that like super Godfather reference. She was all about the Buck, and he was all about Wilma, who Aaron Gray. So there was like a little will they won't they thing going on. Now, it was very popular that first season. Ironically, Charlie, actor strikes are not a unique phenomenon. So at that time,
really?
there was an actor strike in between season 1 and season 2. So they do what they do. They
was that the long strike, or was that a relatively short one?
It wasn't relatively short, but it wasn't like the famously long one.
Yeah.
So when they come back, the entire crew is different now. So they go.
Oh, that's a cardboard.
So they go to my guy Gil Gerard, who's playing Buck, and they say, so we're back at it. He says, oh, that's awesome. You know what, though? While we had the time to think about it, I want these changes. I don't want it so much to be, I don't want it to be so much of like a tongue-in-cheek type wink at the camera shit. Now, again, I'm a kid. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it in the way that, like...
You wearing a Twiggy shirt.
I love fucking Twiki, bro. Well, he was the man. If you said beady, 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 everybody's head would spin your way back then. He wore like a dickhead helmet. He was the best, bro. He was the best. But seasons 1, Charlie, again, if you look at the pictures, you'll see John's right. Seasons 1 and season 2 are wildly different, far more off Earth, fucking spacey action, far more more
He
serious.
wanted it to be a fucking drama.
Absolutely, and like there was no more kind of like sexual tension that even as a kid you pick up. You're like, something's going on.
You're like,
I don't know what He-Man and
they're
Thor
gonna
do,
rub butts.
but it's something. They took all that away.
What the fuck was left?
It just, I mean, not much to even get through a full second season because it was canceled at that point.
Poor Twiggy, out of
And
work.
all of us are still like, wait a minute, what happens?
Yeah.
Like, what happens to this entire time?
Okay.
There's been no answer to that famous what happened. So I thought, you know what? And there have been kind of like somewhat rumblings in the recent past about a revival type thing. I don't know if you remember Tomorrowland. George Clooney came out with them. Like, visually, this looks great. The story's a little wonky. But at that point, I don't know if it was Disney that acquired the property or George Lucas's own or George Clooney's own production company that acquired it. But they were like, no, it's gonna come back. We're gonna get Clooney in the title role. But like, at this point, that's just doesn't seem to be happening. It's very much development hell. So give it to me, baby. I got all kinds of ideas. So this is what we're gonna do. Ellis is correct once again. Twiki was voiced by Mel Blanc.
Well, that's because fucking Ellis was potentially either negative 45 or he was 32 when this show was out.
Ellis is actually half bird person himself. So he's like, oh, Hawk, that's what my primo. What's up, Papa? How are you doing? But yeah, so Twiki was, and if you listen to Twiki speaking, you can kind of hear a little bit of like that Bugs Bunny,
Oh shit!
you know, fucking Yosemite Sam type stuff, kind of eking through. So here, respectfully rather,
We're on like floor 28.
That's all right. The tall building. This is the John reboot, a short version of it. All right. So again, we told about the basis again. So now again, this is my reboot. We do have to kind of like, we want to update things a little bit because technology has kind of moved on to point.
We're gonna keep that shit.
And if I can make that my ringtone today, I would. So in this reboot, Buck is now a member of a deep space expedition that's because it's got a long way to go, many miles before I sleep. They put him to sleep. They place the entire crew in suspended animation, like movies have been tend to do. So in the meantime, just like in Aliens, we're gonna leave one robot to watch over everybody. Should be just fine. Nothing bad ever comes from that.
If ever we're in real space, I'm like 2 robots minimum.
Like, come on, man.
They're robots. Let them robot.
Half a robot, please.
Legs.
So
get the fuck out because of the fire.
Why the legs, man? Unbelievable. All right, so the ship is maintained by a diminutive little robot. So now we're gonna have Twiki rolling with Buck from Jump Street.
Nice.
So Twiki is
He's like a Roomba though, because it's fucking 2028.
It's just his little penis head rolling up the feet. He gets like a body in the feet.
So just legs is fucking too far. We gotta
Beanie, thank you for the arms. I appreciate the future. Beanie. So in the John reboot, I've already done you the favor of for your checkbook of precasting.
I'm sick.
Joe Manganiello is gonna be playing
Hey!
Bob. All right, just showing up that hairy ass chest.
We're at the top of the building, but like, continue.
Yeah, well, the roof. It's a roof pitch, right? That was the whole point. J.K. Simmons is playing Hawk.
Fuck yes.
Right, that relationship, because again, going backwards a little bit, the reason Hawk was added for the second season because they wanted to give Buck like a Captain Kirk Spock type of relationship. So Hawk was dead serious. He only like looked at things very, very
like bird person.
He was like Sheldon actually in reality. So J.K. Simmons is
terrible cast member?
No.
Fuck that shit.
This kid just it's popular? I hate it.
Yeah, that's me.
So as the princess, we all know it too, bro. So the princess, who is again part of the opposition party, is going to be played by my big tooted beauty, Ava Green. Oh, and I can get away with casting her in. I am going to. Speaking of which, though, also as well as
Charlie as her support, bro.
The new and updated version of Ava Green, Alexandra Daddario is going to be playing.
You're going tit for tat, huh?
Literally, she'll be playing Wilma in this version. Now again, we talked about how.
Give me a sec.
Yeah, I know you could lay with that one tonight. We talked about Mel Blanc playing Twiki or voicing Twiki. Focus.
Sorry, my bad.
So we're gonna have this version of Twiki being played by Mel's replacement over there, Jeff Bergman. Feel free to verify my choices there.
Spoiler alert: Ellis is right. This bitch is sold on all those titties.
Yeah, obviously.
Like Ellis is an executive producer. You don't actually have to keep reading.
Ellis is like, let me sign the check. No, that's the memo section. What else? Oh, but this is my personal favorite. So Prince Zardea is going to be played by the recently resurrected. A lot of people thought he was dead. Clancy Brown. Holy shit! Just glaring into the monitor the way that you want to wipe that spit off. All right. So in any case, the reboot again. We have Buck in suspended animation, hurtling through space. Small team. Twiki's just kind of like stomping around. The ship is unexpectedly flies through a plasma field, causes systems to malfunction. Now, again, anybody who knows Twiki knows that he is ride or die. He will help you out. He'll do himself harm to help you out. But my man ain't got. He's not the best athlete on the box. He's like, we're all gonna die.
Also, it's like fucking proper, like the technology's old. It's now technology.
It's now technology.
Like
So,
that motherfucker's doing his best.
if your toaster loves you
Yeah.
and wants to save you, it will do its best, but it's still a toaster.
Yeah.
All right, so he's
Oh, I love
toasting.
that.
Just the toast
He's
is flying out of his
toasting.
head. He runs
Right
over.
out the center.
Now again, there's a small crew, but he just gets to Buck, and he's like, extended animation. So now the system where it would have woken him up, however many months
It's
later,
like
because
overridden.
they're like, just don't stop, like suspend, like continuous. And now the ship is being rocked with whatever the fuck caused that plasma field to initially be created. Now the physical stuff is hitting the ship. Twiki's like, oh, I'm a fucking toaster, and he fucking flies over, and he's like,
That has to be in the movie.
yeah, obviously.
Fuck, I'm a toaster.
I'm also a script writer, bro. This isn't just idea stuff.
Fair enough, thank you.
So now Buck is kind of like on ice per se, and Twiki's just laying there, kind of like powered down. But you can plug in the iPhone anytime you want. What else?
Oh, that's clever too.
So the ship is like, yo, we're fucked up right now. The ship, because again, the ship has brains. Like cars have brains.
ship's like,
So the ship's
oh,
like, you know what we're gonna do?
Tesla brains. It's
All these other human beings in there, other than Buck, they're fucked. What can I do?
Oh.
But the ship knows, like the horse. If someone has a heart attack on a horse ride, the horse knows the trail. Gotta turn around and go home, right? That's what the ship does. It turns around and just goes back home. However, the ship has been fucked mightily. Like it's prom night. It's like, oh shit, how am I explaining this shit to my parents when I get home? So now it's
we
going
don't
home.
walk in that
Yeah,
table
it's fine.
tonight.
This is a fun last
What
show,
did
guys.
you drink before this show?
Some of your soapy drinks, bro.
Fair enough.
So the ship is going home, however, at like a fraction of the speed
Yeah,
that it got to this
but
point.
it thinks it's hauling ass.
No. It's just limping home. He's like, I know I'm fucked, but I gotta
Oh,
get
I see
home.
what you're saying.
So he's like,
And Twiki's fucking
and Twiggy's laid
powered
out.
out.
And
Basically, it's
and-
also in suspended animation because, like you
the,
turn on an
the
iPhone 50
electronics
years from now.
version of it, and everybody else is basically
Toast.
jelly. So
Oh, no.
so now where
Such a specific flavor.
where they got to that point in, let's say, a few months, literally it takes them 500 years to get back to Earth. They do, however. So now the ship gets into orbit, and it's like, well, now come get me, guys. I'm fucked up. Come save me.
Yeah.
And
The
the
equivalent of a fax machine, like bzz,
the Federation, as we have known it, rainbow stripes, white decked
Sick.
out, the dopest fighter jets. I'm sorry, bro. I would put the fighter jets from the Buck Rogers TV series up against X-wings any day of the week.
Is it only
bro.
because they were the Battlestar Galactica ships?
No, but they weren't though.
Oh,
They were their
because the Battleship
own-
Galactica, they're
Oh,
my favorite.
These are unbelievable.
Really? I'm not familiar.
Stark White. So imagine like an X-wing with,
Daffy Ducks was sick.
with pointy teeth.
Oh shit.
An X-wing with pointy teeth. Like that motherfucker eats meat. I'm all about that. But in any case.
Ironically, no, you're not.
They do, not me. Whatever. So that's what gets them there. Yeah, we'll fast forward, but I want this series to be in the vein. Initially.
But it is the series.
No. This
How much time are we
adaptation.
dedicating to this fucking intro? Because it's amazing.
Well, it's not going to be a over the credits introduction, but it's going
This
to
is
kind of
like
go.
quick. This is
It's
visceral
more
stuff.
so. It's intended to be familiar to anybody who likes to imbibe sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
But also as well as to people who watched religiously the season and a half that it was on TV. They're like, I see what they did there, because it's like a 1-for-1. You like this? What about that? You like this? How about this? But it's gonna get us there.
New paint on the old car.
Now, that being said, we get to this future Earth, and there has been some shit going on, right? So they take us to New Chicago, which is from the show, and things are relatively lighthearted. And Buck he's kind of had, again, Joe Manganiello's perfect casting.
But with
He's
Joe,
like-
we are going for more of that season 1 vibe.
Well, let me finish.
Okay.
So we're gonna have that vibe, but it's not gonna be an extended period of entertainment. That's not the real story. Like that's where he gets to. So in the form of swallow it now, you're gross.
No.
In the form of a montage, you're gonna see kind of that lighthearted. This is how we do, like the fun part of Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Oh, this is this, and this is the future, and this is better, right? Blah, blah, blah. But there's something a little rotten in Denmark. He's checking monitors. Their security systems like very involved and stuff like that. Every once in a while, like a bunch of fighters just will fucking go off tearing us down the hallway and stuff. And he's like, "What the fuck is going on here in reality?" And as he's getting situated, he'll have his moments to shine, like warrior stuff. Like, "Oh, this guy doesn't play around." They obviously knew what they were doing back then, and he gets acclimated to the technology relatively quickly because it's not
gun's still kind of a gun.
Yeah, and the fucking joystick is still a joystick, tight ass. And Wilma is still exactly that.
Yeah,
he's still pushing back on like the opposition, whatever. But Twiki's my guy, bro. Twiki's again. He is ride or die. He's always at his side till the day, Charlie. One day, when he's not.
Oh.
That's when the laughing stops. That's when Manganello, you're gonna see him go from
you're gonna kill off Twiki?
Nope. But he's kidnapped.
Oh shit.
So they're like, yo, what the actual fuck? And who got him, spoiler alert, the princess and those ne'er-do-wells. So they're like, yo, we're going to find out what this, because she's spurned at this point by Buck. She doesn't like it. So she takes Twiki to,
I'll take your friend.
If you're familiar with the show at all, there was like the wastelands, like the area that they go. There was a few big cities, all tech, all beautiful, all shiny and new, but there was like a wasteland out on Earth.
Fuck me.
So they're gonna take Twiki out there. Lo, they didn't know my man had like an Apple fucking dot. He's like, yo, find my Twiki app. So Buck's like, now dead serious, is like, I'm gonna go get my friend. That's my real friend. I don't really know the rest of you people. I'm taking one of these jets, and I'm going, and now it's serious, and Wilma's like...
And they're trying to stop him and shit? They're like, no, fuck him, he's just a robot. We'll get you a good robot.
Not even where you're going, bro. Like, nobody goes there. That's not safe. Like, that's... people have gone and never come back. So he's like, doesn't matter. So now it's a small team that goes. The people who are like, no, we like it too much, let you go by himself. A Hawk is there.
Fuck yeah.
Wilma is there. Buck, obviously, he's gonna go get his boy. And granted, the baddies, they are out there. But when they finally get there, and it's gonna be one of those like Twiki, with all due respect, he's a whatchamacallit. He's like a device just to get us to where we ultimately want to go, and where the franchise is gonna pick up is the cats that caused this, and this is going to be a callback to the original novella. The cats that caused this, it was because the nations formed like a World War situation.
Yeah.
Multiple nations kind of like joined together. Not a UN, in the opposite, more like the Axis powers.
Oh shit!
In World War II, like, we're gonna fuck all these people up. We're gonna do what we gotta do, and that's how these parts of Earth got all messed up. It was the nations' war. It was a world war, truly.
Oh, fuck me.
And the reason why the rainbow flags, it's a coalition. It's a coalition society. But the descendants of the people that lost that true world war, they're living in like fucking squalor.
Oh,
right? They're living like the Ewoks lived.
Yeah,
and meanwhile, there are
not
these,
teddy bears.
There are these bubbles of technology, and in their mind, they're the bad guys.
Yeah.
So it's what it's gonna do is gonna set up like one of those technology versus
fuck
like
yourself. That's awesome.
Rocks and blah blah blah. And this is not gonna be a 2-hour fix. It's gonna really launch us into, and it could be a movie that launches us into a series, because that's what the original Buck Rogers show did.
Yeah.
It had a theatrical release movie.
That's fucking awesome.
Coming off the heels of Star Wars and Battlestar and blah blah blah, and like, oh, you like that? Here's now you like that movie? Here's the first part of that movie as the episode number 1. Here's the second half of that movie as part number 2 on TV. This was like pre VHS days even, and then they're like, oh, and now here's a series because we got you hooked. We're gonna kind of do the inverse of that. Use the movie, get them hooked. Now we're gonna roll with the series. Just a high production value. You know, one of these like, you know, super streamers or HBO or whatever the fuck. And we're gonna take off. But that's the story. The story of like,
I love it.
The technology. It made our life better, but it stomped on these other cats. That's what they were fighting against.
Kind of a little pollution message if we want it.
Yeah, we could work. And Charlie, ultimately the series did a ton of that. The pollution and racism and class warfare. I mean, there was a lot of stuff really to it. probably take you maybe a weekend to watch
Yeah,
them all.
I kind of now
But,
want to. Does it kind of hold up
man,
for old time? I like old shit.
I loved it. I
Yeah.
still love it now. Again, I can't separate myself from the nostalgia of it all. I loved it then, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna love it now. But
I only have
the
one
reboot
question.
has to
I
happen.
only have one question. If I insist upon it being a movie that leads to a show,
Yes.
and also I want the movie to end, like you get the 30 seconds of credit, then I want the Buck Roger will return, and then you hit a trailer for the series that's going to launch next year.
Oh, but like in a monstrous form, like you see little pits.
How fucking awesome
they
would that
flew the
be?
I could do that.
Yeah, let's do it. Respect. You're not going to be in the writing credits. This is, no, that's fucking awesome. I like
That's a good one.
legitimately. I want to check that out. And you like wrote that 12 seconds ago.
I did.
That's fucking impressive.
Well,
Well done. I really liked it. You know, I love shit like that just because that throwback stuff sometimes feels like the most.
Ellis, your band.
Yeah.
Favorite part.
I'm telling you, eventually he'll get you too, man. You fucking you feed the beast. You
And
feed the beast.
Ellis is actually right. The fighters are kind of reminiscent of snow speeders. However, snow speeders are amongst, if not the favorite, ships of mine in all of Star Wars.
Which like, and you very rarely see a speeder just not fucking converted to snow. Fucking assholes. Like that George Lucas annoys me. Like those new movies can have a fleet of fucking
Yeah, I've never seen a Millennium Falcon moving stuff.
yeah.
Fucking bullshit.
Fucking annoying. And there's no other. There's one Millennium Falcon and all. Like, I need the fucking ship system to be explained to me. Because I can rock with it. Like, there's only one Millennium Falcon. But, like, really? There's nothing that even kind of looks like it?
Like
a
spare
one-nose
parts
one?
must be a bitch.
Must be so. No wonder he's
Honda
fucking a
is
criminal.
Bad move all the time.
John, what can these fuck? Oh my God, that's fucking awesome. That really is one of the greatest ships of all time.
It's great.
John, tell the beautiful people, we got to get the fuck out of here. I am beat and still, I think, drunk from that shot. John, tell the beautiful people what they can expect next week.
Oh, snappy nappy dugout. So there's about 35 trailers floating around out there. And we kind of insist that you watch them all because the haves and the have-nots to certain kaiju that are just swimming the oceans right now is unbelievable. Charlie and I are gonna make it a point to go be amongst the last.
That's true.
The last to see Godzilla -1.
You're welcome, Ellis.
But also as well as there are some trailers for some other Godzilla related things happening. So check those out. If you haven't seen Godzilla -1, be like us and go check it out now. But there's gonna be more hijinks and long-winded bullshit coming your way, so be ready.
Fuck yeah, but there's only one way that we end each and every episode of US Comics Cast. John, if you could be the embodiment of the next set of rules, because first you gotta turn the power on. Then you gotta turn the volume up, tune Bad Mary in, open up the window wide, and scream out to the night sky, say you must be. We are